Greetings and welcome, riders, to Let's Play Darksiders 2, the Definitive Edition. Alright, I'll promise I'll stop sighing every time I have to say that. But I'm still furious that they're using these stupid names for their Ultimate Editions. What are they gonna think of for Darksiders 3? The Furylicious Edition? I don't know. It doesn't matter. Because we are playing Darksiders 2. Now, as you can see, I already have a New Game Plus mode, but we'll not be playing that. We'll be playing a completely fresh game from the start. I should probably turn the timer on. I'll keep the subtitles on. I'll not go Nightmare. Definitely pushing my luck a little bit too much. But I'll definitely go for Definitive.
There can be no life without order. Good, evil, darkness, light. There must be balance in the universe. Such is the decree of the Charred Council, an ancient body charged by the Creator to preserve the very fabric of existence. But the balance has been broken. Even now, Earth smolders in ruin, fallen to the demon lords, and the Destroyer carves a new kingdom amongst his mighty chosen. Some say the Horsemen war triggered the apocalypse, that he rode to Earth unbidden and doomed all of mankind. But what of the other Horsemen, fearless enforcers of the Council's will? What of fury, strife, and death? To know those names, you must first know another. Nephilim, cursed union of angel and demon. The Nephilim took countless realms to the sword and burned them to ash. But 4 amongst them grew weary of the slaughter and feared their conquest would imperil the balance. And so a truce was made. The 4 would serve the Council in exchange for unimaginable power. Thus were the dreaded Horsemen formed, and the riders' first task was to purge their own brethren from creation, to annihilate the Nephilim and destroy their souls. Let us now cast our gaze to one amongst the 4, not War, who lies chained at the Council's feet, professing his innocence, but one who would save his brother above all else. He has many names: Kinslayer, Executioner, Death.
Alright, that was pretty awesome. Explains a lot.
To bargain for war's freedom, Death swore that he would resurrect humanity. But he knew not how this might be done. And so Death rode forth into the icy veil to find the Keeper of Secrets.
Alright, let's move. Into the Veil. The spear pretty much works the same way as Rune. And what is nice to start with the walls at the start of the game. Although speaking of starts, when I first started playing this game, I wasn't entirely sure when it was set. I mean, obviously it takes place after the introduction of Darksiders 1, that much is obvious. But there's a lot of span of time in between where that particular sequence is and where Darksiders truly begins. So this is more or less a prequel to Darksiders 1. Sort of. This is never explicitly stated, although in context you can sort of figure it out. Because War is still technically imprisoned. And while we don't ever get to hear that he has started his quest for redemption, by the end of the game it's sort of implied that it's happening simultaneously. I'm again not entirely sure, because again it's only implied, not actually stated. But anyway, let's play War and go through this tutorial. Now, War is a much snappier attacker than for Death is much snappier attacker than War. Relying much more on speed, agility. And these enemies are essentially very weak. Alright, so we gain a new piece of equipment, which essentially is just better boots. Because that's something new, because Darksiders 2, rather than going straight for the Zelda-like gameplay where you're on a fixed path essentially, exploring a semi-open world. I mean, you can't really do any section in any order. You can't really do that here either, but this particular game has a lot more freedom, which sort of works for it and against it. I mean, it does make looking into the worlds a little bit more interesting, but you end up with an inventory of nothing but grey pants with all the loot that's getting dropped. Yeah, the loot system I was never all that keen on, especially since it seems to become meaningless after a point. I mean, right now I kind of need all the gear I can get, of course, but you'll see what I mean later. Darksiders 2 is quite a big game. Damn. That first jump is always tricky. Might as well fight everything, because it's in the way. I do like Death's moveset a little bit more than I like War's. I mean, War is tank, whereas Death is a much more surgical striking machine. Right, we got some gloves, which I think we have to equip them ourselves. Ah, looks like our target is waiting for us. Level 1 ice skeletons, do not worry me. Right, let's not get too surrounded. Unlike war... Ooh, where did I go? Don't tell me I dropped all the way down. Damn it. No, that's not the direction I want to go. Damn it, Death. Obey my command. As I was saying, I do like Death's moveset a little bit more than War's. It does feel easier to dodge with Death. Again, mostly because Death is quite a much more nimble character. Doesn't feel quite as powerful, especially at the start, but that changes quickly enough. Damn it. Ah, well. That chest isn't really all that important anyway. Ooh, some new scythes, I think. No, secondary weapon, alright. Cool. This gives me a little bit more versatility in my attacks, although admittedly, secondary weapons always feel a bit weird to use. Alright, let's just go for the objective. I mean, I could go scouring around for secrets like that chest I saw before. But I don't think there's anything really all that spectacular in it. Alright. Now the secondary weapons are ever so slightly more powerful in single strikes. And the execution still feel brutal. Right.
As I have seen.
Let's just keep on moving. No faster movement along these vines. Or at least I don't have the button yet. Alright, this feels like an arena of sorts. Well, that would only make too much sense. Big fella. Awesome. Yes. Unlike war, Death has not actually been stripped of his power, so to speak. He just doesn't start with anything particularly impressive, being just a level 1 Death. Which, you know, the logistics of that don't really make any sense to me, but then again, does anything ever make sense in games? Let's go meet Keeper of Secrets. Alright, that's just sloppy design work. Why put an elevator in if you leave this shaft this unbuilt? Heck, where are we anyway? I mean, I get that we're here to see the Keeper of Secrets, but where are we? Why is everything in such disrepair? Ooh, better axe, alright. And oh, there we go.
Leave this place!
No. We want your secrets, Keeper. Give them to me. Actually, I don't know what the, well, we don't know what the goal is of Death. Whoops. Alright, those instructions were confusing. But luckily Death isn't so easy to kill by falling into stuff. Alright, much better. Yeah, so I do wonder what they had actually planned for Darksiders 2, because Darksiders 2, of course, was released by THQ at the very end of their life. Which essentially means that the game sort of ran out of money before it was completely finished. Now, it was finished off later on anyway, but certain areas do feel like they have been starved of attention, so to speak. Not necessarily unfinished, but you can clearly see that some places just have a little bit of wallpaper over it, just to hide the fact that there's still some cracks in the gameplay. Although that's certainly not the case for the starting areas. Well, except maybe this. This doesn't look particularly well thought out, but that's fine. It doesn't have to be. And that's not the way we have to go. I do hope we can get away from this platforming section. I mean, truly the platforming still remains less than enjoyable. It's a necessary evil for the game, but oh well. We'll have to continue this next time. Thank you all for watching. See you then.